Hi, I'm Raleigh Brown, and it's the day after National Guitar Day, and I didn't find out about it until late, so I'm just catching up. My old friend Ned Aswell asked for a little more information about this Proulx RBL-00, and so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. This is a guitar built by Mario Proulx of Iroquois Falls, Ontario, in Canada, and Mario and I kind of jointly designed the ideas for this guitar, and then he did it as a kind of what's the word I'm thinking of? Just trying to experiment. I used to know words. And so he had free rein to do whatever he wanted with it, and he did some amazing stuff. So first of all, Mario made his reputation making bluegrass guitars, and at first dreadnoughts, and then also he and along with Brian Kimsey designed a guitar they called the OMD, which was kind of like an OM guitar, orchestra model, but with a dreadnought type waistline. So, and it was very loud. All of his guitars are very powerful. And so when he wanted to make a fingerstyle guitar, he and I talked about it because we were friends by then, and I had had a couple of his guitars already, and this was the result. So this guitar is shaped like a Gibson L00, and but it has some very specific things about it, which were Mario's innovations as he did R&D. That's what I was thinking, research and development. And among those are, it has a very short scale length. The scale is 24 inches. Most dreadnoughts are 25.4 or 25.5, and a lot of smaller bodied guitars are 24 and 3/4, 24.9. So this is a very, very short compared to a lot of those, and yet it still produces an incredible amount of sound. And I don't know, and still has really good sustain, which I believe the conventional wisdom is that short scale guitars don't have as good sustain. It has not been my experience. So it's got a 24-inch scale, but it has a 15 fret neck, so that you can actually play at the 10th fret, 12th fret, I'm sorry, and reach all the stuff you would reach in open position without having to stretch. It also has a 0 fret, so 0 frets are often used on cheaper guitars, and for no particular reason they aren't used on expensive ones, but they're actually a great idea when you have a fret at the bottom of the guitar instead of just the nut. It regularizes the height of the strings, and I think it's a perfectly sensible thing to do. This guitar has a Lutz spruce top, which is a Canadian, Western Canada kind of spruce. I'm not sure if it's a variant of Engelmann or something like that. It's like a combination of Engelmann and Sitka. The back and sides are Honduran rosewood, and it's really lovely wood. I'm not sure how well you can see it on here, but I'll hold it up. It's got a nice, almost like old Brazilian rosewood kind of grain, and very, very pretty. I don't think I need this strap right now. And it just has great sound. All the inlays on this guitar are maple, so that Mario wanted it to be a guitar that you would be able to carry across borders. And since certain kinds of pearl and inlay materials are covered by CITES treaties, as are several kinds of wood, he just did all these inlays. So you can see the inlays on the fretboard are little, kind of diamonds, and it's almost like a traditional Martin style, but they are maple, and the name in the headstock is also maple. Really, really beautifully done. The trim is all kind of faux tortoise shell, and which I love, and it has a bound fingerboard which is also faux tortoise shell. It has these. He chose to use these really small Gotoh stealth tuners that are just minute. You can barely see. You can see them on there. When he first put them on, they were so small. I just thought, God, are these things going to last? But 10 years later, they're still totally okay. I've never. They're certainly as good as any other tuners I've had on a guitar for 10 years. It does have a sound port. The sound port was originally my idea. I had a previous guitar with a sound port, and I decided I would always, if I was going to have somebody build me a guitar, I'd always have a sound port. And the first guitar he built me with a sound port had a little, kind of the size of a quarter, and he's gradually enlarged them until you have this maw now, which works great. You get to hear your own guitar better, and it does not in any way decrease the volume that comes out of the guitar. Sound port tuners. That's about everything. Those are all the things. The braces on the inside are. I'm not sure there'd even be a way of you seeing those through there. Nah, it's too dark. But they are carbon fiber sandwiches. So there's spruce on the outside, and then there's a carbon fiber in the middle. The neck on this guitar, I think, is. It's not mahogany. It is. I always forget what it is. It's like Spanish something. I think it's called Spanish cedar, but it's not really cedar. I'm not sure what it is, but it's very lightweight. And the whole guitar. This one is a little heavier than the original prototype because the Honduran rosewood is really heavy. We have a K&K pickup in it, but. The big thing about this guitar, I'm just going to play it for you a little bit. So played with just bare fingers. It's really warm and rich and has a lot of mid-range in a very good way. Played with a flat pick, you can actually play bluegrass with it. It's got a lot of power. It can usually hold its own in a jam against much bigger guitars. If you put finger picks on, well, you can play it with just a thumb pick, and you can get a pretty good thumb picking sound, If you put finger picks on, it can hold its own against kind of the big Gibson J200 ragtime sound of Gary Davis. So all in all, it's a really versatile guitar. It's easy to play. I have light gauge strings on it. With the short scale and light gauge strings, you can really bend notes. And as I said in the photo I posted, It is the my number one keeper, a guitar that I think will be with me to the end when I'm living under a bridge in a cardboard box, because it stands the weather really well too. So thanks for tuning in, and that's a little picture of the 2012 Mario Proulx RBL-00. The RB stands for Raleigh Brown. The L00 stands for like a Gibson L00. Okay, thanks for tuning in again, and see you down the road. Happy day after National Guitar Day.